So our star said healing, which is a big thing for us because 2 days before I got the star, I got diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. We thought that was going to be very hard in our life. In 2020, we thought that was going to be the hardest thing. But it turned out that the hardest thing really is the pandemic. And I hope you're all being safe.
So as we reflect on our word healing, last year at this time, we thought it was a perfect word for us as we started a new healthcare journey. And we look back now and realize that we intended to use that star to help us navigate Aaron's diagnosis, and instead that was the easiest part of our last year. And the emotional and mental implications of the pandemic were what the star represented more. And we reflect back and are so thankful that there's always a bigger plan than ourselves. And it's a reminder to us that we can move forward.
I would agree. It's been our healing journey has really been more the pandemic, as they said, and it's been a bit of a challenge getting emotionally and mentally through that. So
as we found our star the other day, and when Pastor Jay prompted these videos, we realized that a year ago we really thought healing was going to be for Aaron, and instead it ended up being for all of us, and how we are healing with our communities from something so much bigger than ourselves. So what a perfect reminder that if you put your faith in the light, there's always a way forward.
My word is servanthood. When I think of servanthood, I often think of doing things for other people. And I have to admit that this past year, with all the COVID restrictions, I feel like I haven't done as much for people as I would like to. And I have a long list of things I want to do in 2020 for others. But one lesson that keeps coming back to me again and again throughout this year is that sometimes the best way we can serve others is to be with them rather than to do something for them. Often when someone is sick or sad or grieving, I want to do something that will make them feel better. I may even give them advice about things they could do to help themselves feel better, like, have you tried a gratitude journal? What about meditation? Maybe I could send you some chicken soup. And while I mean well, I'm not sure that those things are always the most helpful. They may even make the other person feel less understood and more alone. Sometimes the best thing we can offer is to be with others, to acknowledge their pain and to give them space to grieve, to let them know that we love them, even when they may not feel the most lovable themselves. I think this gift of presence, of truly being with someone, is the true gift of servanthood. Jesus humbled himself like a servant and came to us as an infant in a manger to be God with us, Emmanuel. God dwelt among us by taking on human form, and through the resurrection, God continues to dwell with us, to be with us. When we are sick, sad, or lonely, God is with us, loving us, allowing us space during our difficult time. And when we offer this gift of being with others, we are extending God's love to them. So my continued goal of servanthood is to be with others, to listen to them, to love them, and to allow them all the space they need.
My star gift this year was goodness. And it seemed like, it'd be pretty straightforward, but I had no idea how poignantly that would be manifest during a pandemic. So actually the first thing I think about when I think of how God was made manifest through goodness is a children's book, which I tried to find and couldn't, but it's called Maybe God is Like That Too. And it's about a little boy who finds glimpses of God in the city through simple things that remind him of the fruits of the Spirit, which of course goodness is one of them. And so when he sees God in goodness, he sees it in the neighbor who brings a fresh loaf of bread over wrapped in a towel. And so when I think about goodness being manifest during this pandemic, I think about those first weeks when Michael was deployed and I was home with my 2 kids and I didn't want to bring them to Wegmans, and we didn't really know anything about the virus yet and how it was spread, and I was just feeling very mama bear, super cautious about my kids. And so our neighbors would just like randomly drop groceries off, or one of my colleagues or a couple of members of St. Paul's would just say, hey, I'm at Wegmans, I'm at Costco, is there anything I can get for you? And then things would just appear on my doorstep. And it was just, that goodness was what got me through that time. So God was made manifest in goodness for me this year, and I am very grateful.
It's Linda Jackson here, and I'm presenting my star gift of tolerance and how God has made manifest through the gift of tolerance. It's no surprise that we're all feeling the weight of this long pandemic, this year of suffering around the world, but for my family in particular, as many families are struggling, we've been dealing with some cataclysmic circumstances that have just been unreal. And the gift of tolerance was just the perfect gift for me. Didn't think it would be at first. I was actually a little bit resentful that I got this. I wanted a star gift of maybe one of the fruits of the Spirit, but in reality, this actually taught me more of the fruits of the Spirit. So I think tolerance and how God manifests himself through tolerance this year is basically through an unshakable trust that I have in God, that knowing that while we're in the midst of a storm, that he has never left my side, just like he came to the disciples and told them not to fear, that it is I, do not fear. I feel that same thing. I feel he is with me and I'm not going to be fearful. He calms the storms and he makes me whole as we overcome challenges that we never dreamt we would need to overcome. But God is the one. He is the one who was, the one who is to come, the power of the risen one. His life just flows through my veins, and he is the God of miracles. And so with his gift of tolerance through what he's offered is joy. While I trust him at all times and in all circumstances, I hold on to this hope that God brings, that someday there will be no more tears and no more pain or suffering. And it'll be that day when we meet Jesus face to face, and how I so look forward to that day. I'm looking forward to that. But in the meantime, I know he's holding us, and I trust, because he provides these blessings and outright miracles that continue to flow upon us. And I look forward to see how he's going to move his hand next in my life and in yours. He is the light in the darkness, and I find that light to be so bright lately. Even in the midst of darkness, it overshadows. I hope he's overshadowing the darkness in your life too.